Hello and welcome to the Garrity Talks. My name is Lucia Ongay and I am the co-founder of the Garrity Awards. Just like the awards, this series will put in the spotlight some of the industry's true change makers within the aim to drive progress in the industry at a global scale. Today we have three amazing guests from Germany who were all part of our jury. So Antoinette Hus is our ambassador this year for the Garrity Executive Jury. She is a feminist dragon ant mix that loves to pitch and lead teams to success and happiness. She's an international strategy and transformation director that has worked in various countries for network and independent agencies. As a side project, she is co-writing a coming-of-age story of two feisty girls in the Amsterdam of the early 80s to be published this spring. This spring, right?
This summer by now.
Okay. So then we have Britta Puch, Chief Creative Officer, Campaign of Track. She started her copywriter career at the legendary agency Hildmann, Simon, Rempen and Schmitz, where she won
A long time ago.
where she won her first ADC medal. She later worked for KNSK BBDO Mech Berlin, and in 2010 she was the first woman to be appointed Chief Creative Officer in Germany for McCann, managing the creative direction of Hamburg, Düsseldorf, Munich and Berlin offices. She is member of the board for the Art Directors Club in Germany and has been in the jury of major international awards and is part of the executive jury of Garrity this year as well. And finally, Franziska Maas, Chief Creative Officer of Great Germany, an empathetic, convincing, dynamic, and goal-oriented person. Franziska has worked in agencies such as Jung von Matt, Service Plan, and Springer and Jacobi. Reliable, optimistic, enthusiastic, motivating, and precise, she was a spokeswoman of the Executive Committee of the Com Clubs Bavaria and member of the Art Directors Club in Germany. She was featured in Horizon's 99 Women in Marketing, Advertising and Media and part of the WMB's 100 Brains of the German ad industry. She has also been in many international juries and was part of Garrity's grand jury last year. So welcome and thanks for joining us for this Garrity talk about German creativity. So let's start with the first question. Do you think there are certain characteristics that make German advertising different to others? Is there something specific and immediately recognizable in campaigns from Germany? Who would like to start?
Let's start with the Germans.
Britta, would you like to start?
Yeah, I can start. For me, this is a very interesting question because when I asked this question to myself, I really had the feeling, yeah, there is something, but you cannot really see that immediately, but you can feel it always. And for me, is this the point that the Germans are very, very good in using their heads, and sometimes they're not so super good in using their bellies. And when I see sometimes campaigns from other countries, especially from America or England, then I can always feel there's a special human touch in it, and there's always a deep human truth in it, or a good human insight. And sometimes I miss that in the German campaigns. But on the other hand, the Germans are very, very good in this design thing, because maybe it's a little bit like engineering, defining routes for brands and doing all this engineering stuff for a brand. And I think I still have the feeling that this is typical for German creativity. But maybe we have a different opinion about that.
I'm not so sure. I also found it a really tough question, to be honest, when I asked myself, because I had the same feeling. Yes, there is maybe something, but I can't name it. So for me, it's really, really not to answer it because I just don't know. When I think about UK or something like this, it's really very, very easy to say what's the difference. But no, I don't. I think I wouldn't say there's something that makes German campaigns recognizable.
as a Dutchie that has been working only for like 3.5, 4 years in Germany and also in international agencies, I have not seen many German campaigns as yet. I do watch German television, but I don't think that we want to go there.
No.
But what was interesting when I was working at DDB in Berlin, we had a Brazilian ECD and his Brazilian CD when I entered. So there was a sort of very stereotypical, but it was true, Brazilian suave going around the agency. It was very ata. And then we shifted to a new couple of ECDs, and they came from Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. And I loved them in the sense that to me they were very Dutch. In essence, they were so very clear and could write everything down on the back of a beer coaster. But the song and dance had gone. That it was like in this sense, I do understand that the belly, the sort of I don't know, but this might have been just these two particular Brazilian and German creatives. But for me, it was an interesting switch. And also to see that what I now consider to be German creativity is very close to the Dutch. We use a tad more humor in most of our campaigns, but it feels that we're close.
And do you think it's maybe you have to choose either being more like the Brazilian that you mentioned or like the Germans, or is it possible to mix like maybe structure and Brazilianness?
I think we do that in our market because most of the agencies are working with international teams, especially in Berlin. So you have so many people from different countries in the agency. I work in Hamburg, but I live in Berlin, which is okay, my problem, but I love it to live like that. So, but I think we do that because everywhere, because when people from different countries come together, something new is exploding, and this is what we need from our talents, even if they're female or homosexual or something, or from Brazil or from Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. Different influences for getting new ideas. So.
I think that maybe is the German thing, to sort of be really good at getting all these influences, keeping it all together and mixing and merging that to a good end result. I think that's what I really see.
Okay, that's interesting. And what is your all-time favorite German campaign?
Okay, from my point of view, it's still Hornbach. Oh no! It's very yeah, I agree. Yeah, because this is the bold, crazy, brilliantly crafted, even based on a human truth, and they maintained this quality since 20 years. I was sure you would say the same. So.
Definitely. For me, it is also Hornbach. They are successful for such a long time. They have an own, you know, in the minute you see it, in the second you see the commercial, you know it's from Hornbach.
Yeah.
So unique. They have such an amazing strategy behind it. It's, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a real campaign. It's nothing only done for awards. So it's a real campaign. You really can see that. And I think this is really the boldest campaign of the last 20 years.
Definitely.
And also it really, it makes no excuses. It sells the products to the audience. And it's also language-wise, I'm not a native German speaker, but it's so well done. It's sort of, it's a joy. It's really, I'm jealous.
Like we all.
Yeah.
It's been running for 20 years now. That's a lot.
Yeah, I would say so. I think it was the first client of the agency Heimat, and I think they celebrated last year the year before the 20th celebration of the birthday party was I think 2 years ago. So
Okay.
A very long time.
And which campaigns have you been most excited by in the past 12 months and why? Which have been like special 12 months, I would say, for everybody.
maybe Franziska, you will start, because when I say something,
Of course, I can start. And I have thought about this too, very long, to be honest, because I have the feeling there wasn't so many campaigns out there, really campaigns. And if so, it was, of course, often around the Corona theme and the COVID topic. And so if I had to choose one, and I was just really, because I didn't notice one that was stick in my mind. So if I have to say one, I would probably say one of our own clients, because I was really proud that they did it and that they had the balls and they did it despite of Corona. And that's Balmer. We had a brand campaign and I loved it. So for me, that was the one that sticked in my mind, and not just because it is from us, because it was one of the rare ones I saw that were not playing with the COVID topic.
So for me, I was mostly annoyed because I really had the feeling of, I saw so many campaigns that celebrated the real heroes, the nurses, the caregivers, and so many brands wanted to capitalize on that. And but for these people, nothing changed. The people are poorly paid still, and no one really thinks about them, not even this brand. So I said, oh, we love you so much in these times. But there was one campaign I really loved, and this was Zalando, because they had a simple message. And the simple message was, we will embrace again. Wir werden uns wieder umarmen, which was for me like a ray of light in this dark winter. And they had simple, great pictures. And this is absolutely a simple idea, but they really touched me. So, and they say, we will embrace again. And this comes from a fashion brand. I really love that, because there was, even in this campaign, was such a deep truth, yes, and we missed that so much. And for me, this was much more powerful than all this, oh, we love you, nurses, supermarket cashiers, and all these people, yes. So from my point of view, Zalando did the best job in this, in the German market.
Yeah, for me it's hard, because I haven't seen a lot of German advertising. What I did see was what the city of Berlin is doing outdoor, like the Masken auf campaign, and I think that's really well done. It's well written and it's cheeky. I hope my city of Amsterdam will become as cheeky as that ever, because I really think Berlin knows how to touch a certain tone that sort of talk to its citizens. So it's the outdoor campaign that the city does for the everything you need to do to be COVID safe. Campaign-wise, I thought everything was shite, really shite, just COVID campaigns, blah. I laughed only about or I had some good feelings about a UK campaign for Maltesers, the chocolate thingies that you bite and then they crunch lovely. And that was just 6 women getting on a Zoom call, talking about real shit and eating Maltesers. And that was such a lo-fi, low budget, but it was as if I wasn't watching actors, as if it wasn't even scripted. It was a very thin line between an ad and a real thing. I loved it. It was done by AMV BBDO, but not in Germany, sorry.
No worries. And Antoinette, I read you will, well, as you mentioned, you will be releasing your book in the summer. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, of course. It's why I'm freelancing at the moment. It's weird. My husband's a writer, so that's his job, a literary writer. And after 2 years of DDB, he was like, why don't you finish the book that you started like 15 years ago with your best friend? And I said yes, and my best friend said yes again. So for the past year we wanted to work on the book, but then pitches came in between, a pitch with Media Monks, a pitch with DDB Dubai. It's sort of, but still, we've been working on it now for 8 straight months. It's about 2 girls that grew up in the Amsterdam of the 1980s, and not completely by accident. My best friend and I grew up in the Amsterdam of the 1980s. And we feel that that time was so free. We were so carefree. We did whatever we wanted. We went hitchhiking to France when we were 15. We were clubbing from 14 till 18. And somehow we survived without huge problems. And our parents were so busy still finding themselves that they were actually sort of far, far away. So it felt like an interbellum to us. This time of growing up in the 80s is sort of a time we would want to recreate. So on the one hand, it's a nostalgic book, and it's like 2 girls going on adventures. And on the other hand, I think we make a quite feminist point about women then and now, or girls then and now, and how the world treats them. And it was supposed to be this spring. It will be this summer or this autumn, because actually we so want to have a party to launch the book, to sort of also reconnect with everyone we knew in that time. So I want an 80s dance party. And so it will not be launched. We do have a publisher, but she understands, but it will not be launched before we can go out on the party.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I very much look forward to go clubbing again. And it doesn't seem it's going to be right now.
No.
And Antoinette, in one of your conferences, you spoke about how creatives and strategists should focus more on left field science, art, and weird things. Can you tell us more about this topic, and why do you think they should?
Yeah, I think most planners are raised to be boring. So, I mean, there's craft, there's deep craft and hard thinking to planning, but it's not about coloring within the lines. Great strategists and great planners should sort of open their minds, not just to culture. I understand the whole culture thing, but also to, I call it left field science or left field art, or things that are just off the radar. Because if we all see the same things and we all wear the same hats and then we'll all make the same campaigns and we all speak to people in the same way. So, and also I'm a science fiction fan. I used to be a gamer, so my interests go more into the world of tech and of weird tech. I mean, I have that chip in my hand myself, you know. I love being on that edge of things, and I hope and I want to push planners to be a bit weirder. Of course, they need the craft, but get out there and have a life, see the world, do something off color. That would be my want.
Franziska, I read in an interview that you wanted to get Great Germany back to the top 5, and that you trusted your network and luck to achieve this. How is your balance after these almost 2 years, and what were the biggest challenges?
I think the biggest challenge were definitely COVID. I think we are in a good state right now, but of course last year was tough for every creative. We didn't send out any stuff to any award shows. Most of the award shows were cancelled, so the top 5 was hard to reach. And of course, we had also a lot of topics regarding structure, restructure in Düsseldorf, building up our Hamburg office, doing a lot of pitches, doing a lot of work for Grey. And I think, yeah, Corona throwed us back, I would say 7 months. Because of course everything stopped, and yeah, but I think we are good now, and I'm really looking forward to this year.
And you're also a member of Great Global Creative Board. What do you find most interesting and enriching in your exchanges and discussions with the board?
I think what really is cool, it's often funny because of course I'm the only German one, and everyone has an opinion about Germans because they know the Germans from juries, and we are always so exact and precise, and we bring back everything on the table that was there before and know everything, and so it's often really funny. And sometimes it feels like I'm the annoying German girl who brings up everything. But it's really cool because we are so many different people, and we have so many different cultures, and everyone has another view on stuff. And sometimes someone from Latam says something and I think, right, yeah, I never thought about this. So that's really fun, and we are discussing. In the first year, it was more about discussing award work and the best work in the network worldwide. But the role of the board changed a bit with restructure of GREAT end of last year. So now we are also doing pitches with the board. So the biggest clients were pitched by us. And that's a lot of fun because we have so many different opinions. And yeah, so I think for me, the most fun stuff is to see how different every one of us ticks, and what hooks us, and that we have often very tough discussions about the work.
And Britta, you studied social and economic communications in university. How did you end up working in advertising?
Good question. Oh my God, I ended up in advertising, are you sure? No, I have to say I'm a kind of universal dilettante. Is this the right word? Yeah, I'm a universal dilettante. I can do many things well, but nothing really brilliant. So, okay, writing is a talent, but I'm not brilliant. Huh? So, but I'm good in a lot of different things. And when I was younger, I really thought advertising is the right place to be for me, for such a universal dilettante like me. And I have to say, I had a fantastic professor at the University of Arts here in Berlin, and he brought really the celebrities of advertising at this time, which is a long time ago, to our lectures, like Konstantin Jacobi or Jean-Remy Format. And they were so charismatic personalities and good looking and all this stuff. And I really thought, oh, advertising is sexy. I can really say there's nothing sexy anymore about advertising. It's just hard work. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's fun, but sexy, I wouldn't use this word anymore for advertising. But when I was younger, I really thought, wow, advertising is sexy.
What word would you use?
Yeah, it's hard work. For me, advertising is hard work. Mm-hmm. And the fun is a little bit gone from my point of view.
And you have been CCO at Track for 4 years now. What is your balance of these years, and what have been the biggest challenges?
Yeah, I have to say our Track ship sails quite well in this crazy wild sea. But yeah, what's the reason for that? Because I think we don't try to be able to do everything. We understand branding, okay, we understand data, okay, we understand personalized advertising, and we know which message makes sense at which touch point, all this stuff. And we love tech in our agency, and our main sentence is always we understand branding and a connected world, and that makes us fit for the future. And it's still working because we know there are a lot of agencies outside which have they really have problems. But with this mixture of branding, data, and personalized advertising, we are still successful, which is good. And my biggest challenge is, I think, especially in these times, to really to encourage people, to encourage the people I work with, to ignite passion to them, or I think because we all work in the home office now, it's sometimes really hard to stay in contact, to give them a good feeling, good feedback. For me, this is the biggest challenge at the moment. But I give my best to be passionate, to give them ideas and to get something back. But sometimes I have the feeling, okay, we all live in this home office situation and have this kind of depression. I always try to fight against this because Antoinette knows that. She follows me in the social media channels. I invented the Glamnuary, wearing something glittery every day. At the moment, I celebrate the February, being fabulous every day with vegetables. And I know this sounds crazy, but this is my way to.
It's really helpful. I love it.
It's my way to have some fun. And I try to, I try. For me, really, the hardest challenge is to encourage the people, stay in contact with them, getting good work done, and it's not easy.
And a question for the three of you. What things have you figured out about your work not that long ago that you think would have helped you know in the beginning of your career? Okay.
I have an answer. I would say just not to worry so much. I used to worry too much when I was younger. Advertising is not worth worrying. That's for me the biggest thing. But I understand this since 2 years, so it's a new thing for me, because I was in this worrying. Oh my God, the next campaign. Oh my God, the client don't love me. Oh my God, fuck it. So it's advertising. It's not worth that you are always in the worrying situation.
Say that home office works.
Yeah.
Because a year ago, every one of us would have said, no, we have to be in the office. Everything else is not working. And now we see it works. And it works, to be honest, better than we thought.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think what I learned too late is that not everybody is like me. It's maybe a weird thing to realize. I am always one of the boys. I don't have imposter syndrome. I don't see a glass ceiling. I mean, I look like a girl, but I am actually one of the boys. And that means that I have had, let's say, too little empathy or too little, I noticed not enough that a lot of women come from a different place. And I don't know why I am different in that sense. So what I learned and what the past couple of years have helped me learn is that I actually need to elevate and help people that are not like me, which is weird because usually you sort of, you tend to go to the people that are more like you, and you sort of, with them you hug, and them you mentor, and them you lift as you grow. And I learned that if our industry has to become different, and it has to, then actually I need to go the extra mile for people that are not my twins, and that I might not at first glance even sometimes like that much, because I have this very specific makeup why I function really well in a patriarchy and a male-dominated world. Let's not forget that. So yeah, I think that's the main thing I learned. I didn't learn it through COVID, but I did learn that only to my shame in the past couple of years.
And the last question for the three of you as well. So after a pandemic 2020, what do you expect to find in campaigns for this year? Or what kind of stories or ideas would you like to see and brands to tell us?
Something with fun and humor.
Yeah, good answer.
Lighthearted.
Yeah, for me it's even
I want to hug them.
Yeah, oh man. lighthearted things, but also, yeah, I mean, that it's always the serious topics that then come up. I'd like to see more diversity. I'd like to see, and we need to see that. But after this COVID thing,
Later.
yeah, I'm so with Britta. We need fun. Advertising can really bring lightness, and let's go and look for that, and let's go and look for the clients that want that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But to make it happy and a little bit German again is I think this faster, higher, further thing, and this more and more and more and more growth, and think this is a little bit over. And I hope that brands will give us an answer how we can live a good life in harmony with the planet, in responsibility for humanity. And I think in these times we really found out how little we really need. And but I think maybe it will swing again in the other direction. I don't know. But I think brands can tell us something how to live a good life, and even just maybe a fun life, but even a good life with a deeper meaning. And I hope I can see this kind of campaigns.
I'm afraid that the biggest thing we need to solve is that we all work for growth of our own company, growth of a brand, growth of how they sell their products and services, and actually it's untenable. And I'm starting to understand that growth needs to be redefined in another way. But especially network agencies that I have worked for a lot are really not ready for that, nor are the brands they work for. So that's an interesting juxtaposition. We work to make people grow, and growth is actually not a very modern thing. So advertising has become, in that sense, very old-fashioned, the whole spirit of it. And don't give me like, but the purpose marketing and da. That's not what we mean. In essence, we work to sell things, which is a lovely trade. But if the whole universe is actually going towards a place where growth is no longer sustainable, well, that is something. I mean, it would be nice if the Cannes Lions would do a year around that, or the Garrett Awards, or anyone in charge. That's my it would be a dear thing if we would solve that.
Yeah, doing good work for a good reason, for good things. So that would be nice.
Francesca, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. You are right. But still, first, I want to have a bit more fun after.
Yeah. Okay, so let's
go from yourself, Franziska. This comes not from advertising. Huh?
So let's go for a funny 2021 for all of us. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us in this Garrett Talk, and wishing you all the best for this year. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.